This message is brought to you by Apple Pay. No matter where you're going this summer, odds are you'll need to pay for a few things, like a ride share, a souvenir, or dinner at that spot on your bucket list. Instead of digging in your wallet every time, just use Apple Pay. It's accepted anywhere you see the contactless symbol, and all it takes is a tap with your iPhone or Apple Watch. The best part is you'll still earn the card rewards, points, and cashbacks you love. Easy setup now, easier travels later with Apple Pay. Terms apply. Welcome into the Ringerverse. This is the Ringers Nexus podcast for you for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinkerer of things. Jomi, explainer, Adeniran. You got questions. He's got answers. Old man Van, he of the receding, resurgent hairline, Coke, Baby, Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. Okay, before we get into the podcast, I have to say something. I can't use minoxidil.
What's the deal? What's minoxidil? Minoxidil. I had fun.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
All right, Jerry.
Man. So minoxidil is something that you put the little drops in your hair, regrows the hair.
Right.
Oh.
Right? So the hair is growing so good that the people from the hair transplant place were like, look, what you should do now, the hairline is back and things are growing in really well, is you should just use the minoxidil all over your head.
Okay.
Because when you use the minoxidil, it's just going to make the hair all over your hair grow crazy and your shit come back crazy dark. I don't even know if I want to do that. But I was like, all right, maybe I'll think about doing it. Man, I used minoxidil and it fucked with me.
Oh.
I had minoxidil side effects.
What are the side effects?
So I have preventricular contractions, PVCs, like little funny heartbeats sometimes.
Okay.
They're benign, but I have them.
Right.
Like whatever. And I use a minoxidil, and the minoxidil is like, I guess it opens the blood vessels or whatever. And so my heart was just going crazy. My heart was just going crazy. It was so funny because I was talking to the doctor. I talked to the doctor. I said, so how many people have this side effect with the minoxidil? And they were like, some people do. But I was like, and the doctor was like, to be honest with you, a lot of people still use it even though they have that side effect.
They really want that.
Honestly,
hair back,
this brings up I was watching the Club 520 podcast, and they had a good question. As a man, Rank, would you rather lose your hairline, your eyebrows, or your beard?
Well, I mean, for me, it's easily the beard.
Yeah,
really.
Beard.
I didn't wear a beard for a long time.
No eyebrows though is like.
In my hottest picture of all time, which I was hating on this podcast,
all neck,
all neck
was the
all
quote,
neck picture. I didn't wear a beard for a long time. I don't need the beard. I need my mustache. You know what I mean?
I do need facial hair.
I need my mustache.
I need the facial hair.
I
didn't get this until the pandemic, and I'm never letting it go.
I can't really fully grow out a beard, and it feels good because I know that I can't look like that crazy without one.
Right.
So like I could easily sacrifice
like y'all's king.
Some of you guys are beard fishing out here.
Y'all saw that picture I put in the chat of y'all king.
What?
Yeah, of y'all king.
Oh, Pedro?
Yeah.
Pedro without facial hair look crazy.
It does. 1984.
When he was Max Lord in Wonder Woman, it was a different story.
I was about to say.
Follow us on socials.
LeBron looks great with his facial hair.
Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Jomi.
Guys, as you're listening to this, we're in San Diego Comic-Con right now. We're going crazy. We're having a great time. Make sure to follow so you don't miss any of the hijinks and shenanigans that we get up to this weekend. It's going to be crazy.
And to all the weed women out there, you know we're going to be at the Crunch Go party.
Stop.
Say what up to your boy.
Why would you do
I'm worried.
I'm putting Charles in a straight jacket like Hannibal.
I'm worried.
Listen, he's shooting.
No ring on his finger, girl.
Catch and fit your dynamite. You know what I mean? Like, might as well. Jesus Christ.
Because it's 2 nights. You know?
Yeah.
And you RSVP both nights. We all did.
We all did.
But I'm concerned
Free
about...
liquor.
There's a lot of functions going on.
Y'all know,
so
I do show my ass at the party sometimes. I have to.
Sometimes.
I don't need you to, you know, because it's a weeb situation, but I don't know if you being there and showing your ass will be different because you'll be
amongst the
weaved up.
people.
You'll be overweaved. You'll be overstimulated. You'll be over everything. That's like
my people.
That's an amusement park for Charles. That's like your deal.
It's your element, man.
Yeah. So I want to see how you. What are you gonna wear there? What do you wear there? Do you wear? So we're going to the Crunchyroll party, right?
Yeah.
What does a weeb wear to the Crunchyroll party? Do you wear like a Demon Slayer T-shirt?
Fuck no.
Do you dress up like Naruto?
like
Naruto? Is that what you say?
Is he Dominican?
Naruto.
Is he
Dominican? Like
Yo, Dominican Naruto.
He was Dominican to me. How do you say it?
Naruto.
Like what do we? Because I don't have any of that type of gear.
Neither do I.
Dominicans,
Have you ever seen me come in some anime shit, bro?
I think that you have it, bro. I think you have that stuff. I think you have those things that they put in their hair.
Oh, the ears?
It's like Spider-Man 3. He got it under the bed. He pull it out.
Yeah.
The thing. He look at
Batman looking at the cow.
Nah, I'm doing the Tobey Maguire all black dance at a week party.
Yeah, like the little, So do you dress regular to the Crunchyroll?
Yes, I don't have anime shit in my closet, bro. I got one Dragon Ball Z shirt.
He's gonna pull up in his car and it's
bitch.
gonna be a huge anime rap.
You know what? If
Nissan.
you don't do it, then I'ma do it.
Wow.
I'ma go crazy weed for the party.
You wearing cat ears and shit?
Cat ears,
Van,
backpack.
If I find you some gear to put on for the Crunchyroll party, will you wear it?
Wear it. I will wear this gear for the Crunchyroll party.
Actually, you know what? Some good social content. Maybe if we could talk Arjuna into paying for it. If y'all guys find any anime shit for me to wear on the convention floor, I'll wear it one night.
I'll get you a cloud wig.
I'll wear it to the party.
Let's get him. Somebody make him a Buster Sword real quick.
This is the type of shit that we should be doing.
Yeah.
Like, get into it.
Oh my God.
If I'm there, I'm weaving it up because I'm going to be walking around the room trying to telling people, look, straight up, I know you love this shit. I never watch this shit.
What? And I just do it for fun.
I love Attack on Titan. I tried to watch it, but it made me have an existential crisis. Couldn't watch it. I don't see how y'all look at this shit.
So you see a sexy Sailor Moon walking by, you not going to be like,
I'm going to show her some pictures of the Sailor Moon stuff that
you know.
All right.
We're on YouTube. Go on.
Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of R episode, youtube.com/@Ringerverse. And also on Spotify. Hey, YouTube people, once again, do better.
What? We had a great time
We
with
had
the
a
live
great
the other day.
Thank you guys for coming out to the live, by the way.
That was really
awesome.
good.
Right. These guys here are always going to be in the bag for you guys. They're always in the bag.
For the people who support us and love us.
I am going to continue to let you guys know that we're giving it our all. And all we're asking you guys to do is like and subscribe.
Is this the attitude you're going to do at Comic-Con? When you have a crowd of people at us?
Like and subscribe to shit. They always going to play nice. That's what they do. It's fine. I'm telling you straight up. And this is in love.
Right.
This is with love.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe to shit if you want more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like and subscribe it. God damn it. All right. Program reminders. We're at Comic-Con right now. This weekend. Well, that's interesting. We just talked about it like it was in the future.
Yeah.
We're at Comic-Con right now. This weekend, you can expect to see our panel at Comic-Con. Oh, my lordy daddy. Are you guys excited?
I am.
Oh, 100%.
Arjuna keeps hitting me up going, what do you want the panel to be? What do you want the panel to be? Arjuna is stressing out over the panel. Arjuna's been on edge lately. He has.
Really?
I mean, it's a lot going on.
It's a big time.
He's been walking around on eggshells. He's been freaking out. He's frazzled. Arjuna, relax. You know what we do with the Midnight Boys? We swag our way through a panel. We could get up there with nothing to talk about.
I would rather
anime
not.
stuff on.
And just swag our way.
Show to the panel. What's up, guys?
A panel.
We prepared nothing.
Hey,
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Vance just does crowd work for an hour.
Like, could easily do it. Like, what are you guys going to talk about? We're going to talk about how you guys could be better fans.
Be better.
Be better fans, the panel.
And later, both the House of R and the Midnight Boys will be giving you their recaps and reports from San Diego. We also got the meet and greet that night. So we got the panel and we got the meet and greet.
Right.
And so you guys are going to get all of the Midnight Boys House of R Ringerverse content.
And
that you
for every Blue Lagoon, you buy Jomi.
That's not.
Yes.
We will tell you the Deep Shadow Protocol of his birthday.
One Deep Shadow Protocol per drink.
No.
Let me tell you guys something right now. You guys cannot get Jomi drunk. He can get drunk.
He's impervious. He's the Winter Soldier.
But Jomi is a legend already to me. You guys can't do it. I dare
Yep.
the Midnight Riders.
The Snow Bunnies.
I got no say in this.
I dare you guys. You guys can't get Jomi drunk. Y'all can't get my... the only thing is I got to be able to give him some water and every once in a while give him a slider or something.
Mm-hmm.
If Jomi has one glass of water and one slider every 30 minutes, y'all can't get him drunk. I haven't seen anything like it. You can't get Jomi drunk. So we'll see. Come out. Where's the place at? It's called
Whiskey
Dames and Games.
Whiskey Girl.
Whiskey Girl.
Dames and
Games.
Games.
It's
I knew it was something like
David
that.
Buster's for women?
Like
What is that?
Whiskey Girl. You never heard of Dames and Games?
I've never heard
No.
of David and Games.
Okay.
Sounds like a great place.
Whiskey Girl, Thursday night. Get Jomi drunk if you dare. On today's show, we're going to give you our instant reactions to the highly anticipated Fantastic
All right.
Four First Steps.
I looked up Dames and Games. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that.
All right. Spoilers for the Fantastic Four, the MCU, everything leading up to this movie, all things involving space god children, everything happening right now. Steve. We're getting ready to talk about
Fantastic Four.
You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming. To begin our reactions, we have to put you in the know. The only person who can do that is Chuck Wagon. The only way to do that is the trademarked Midnight Manifest.
All right, this is your Midnight Manifest for Fantastic Four: The First Steps, directed by Matt Shakman, screenplay by Josh Friedman, Eric Pearson, Jeff Kaplan, Ian Springer, story by Pearson, Kaplan, Springer, and Cat Wood, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Baccarat, and Joseph Quinn. We begin on Earth 828. The Fantastic Four have been operating as the world's protectors for 4 years. Sue reveals to Reed that the couple were finally able to get pregnant after being unable to conceive for a long minute. Unfortunately, this good news is ruined by the arrival of Shala Bal, aka the Herald of Galactus, aka the Silver Surfer. She informs the Earth that their days are numbered thanks to the imminent arrival of Galactus, a cosmic entity that eats planets. The Fantastic Four travel off-world to confront Galactus, but realize two things. The villain's godlike powers make him nigh impossible to stop, and the only way they can save the planet is by sacrificing their unborn son, Franklin, to the entity. Why, you ask? Because Franklin in this universe and the comics is a reality-warping, all-powerful super being. A month later, the Fantastic Four and the newly born Franklin return to Earth. The public quickly turn on the Four after Reed reveals they refuse to sacrifice Franklin. After Sue gives an impassioned speech, the world bands together. Reed devises a plan to transport the Earth away from Galactus, but is thwarted by the Silver Surfer. So in a last-ditch effort to save the Earth, Sue sacrifices herself and pushes Galactus into the teleporter, which costs her life. But our reality warper Franklin revives his mother from death, and the Fantastic Four ride off into the sunset as one happy family. That is... until Dr. Doom shows up in the Stinger. That has been your Midnight Manifest for Fantastic Four First Steps. Back to you, Van.
Okay. The movie is out. There was so much anticipation.
Yeah.
When I sat down to watch the film, I was almost nervous. The first thing that stuck out to me was the tone of the movie, the visual tone. Charles, had you ever seen a Marvel movie that looked like this before?
No, yes, in some ways, I do think, obviously, because Matt Shakman directed this, who also worked very heavily on WandaVision, I think it was already something that the Marvel machine had started toiling with in terms of just like making an entire TV series or movie around an aesthetic. But even within that aesthetic, when we're talking about the cinematography and the color grading and everything, this was, I think when people say, was this serious? It is a very, not gray movie, but it is a very, they want us to know that this is important. Does that make sense?
It does. Look, the Fantastic Four, I think the difference between them and other Marvel properties, that have really exploded in the last 3-4 decades, the Fantastic Four are very foundational to Marvel, but they've been difficult to make contemporary because they're kind of zany. They're zanier than some of the other Marvel characters that have exploded in popular culture. They're a little zanier, right? Iron Man is an arms manufacturer who becomes a hero. Wow. Captain America is a soldier with all this wartime ethic, right? The X-Men are these societal outcasts that become examples of family, but also angst in terms of you get your powers when you're an adolescent. Like you grow up with the X-Men, really, really identifying with them as people, even more so than heroes. And when you look at Spider-Man, once again, it's kind of the same thing. A teenager with all of these powers, all of this responsibility, all of this stuff. The Fantastic Four, it's a little different. It is a family, but you have one guy that lights himself on fire, another guy that's rock all the time, and then you have a Reed who is an uber nerd. And with the stretchy powers and the Invisible Girl and all of this stuff, it does seem like a relics of a hero's era gone by. So they've never really quite been able to make them contemporary, and this movie kind of did.
Wait, but before we get off this point, because I was thinking about this morning, to me, the Fantastic Four are like the Rakim of superheroes, where it's like if you show a kid in 2025 like Rakim rap, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? It sounds old. Why is like my older uncles or my like grandparents or whatever, what was it about this? And you don't realize until you listen to someone like Nas, you're like, no one was rapping like this intricately, putting words together like this. And I think when you think of the Fantastic Four, what makes them so hard to adapt is that, no, this is the source for everything. When people think, oh, they're Marvel's first family, they think that just means, oh, because they're an actual family. And no, if you go back and you read the history of these comics, Marvel at that time, their pitch with the Fantastic Four is that this is the world outside of your door. This is not DC. And the thing that makes them hard to adapt is everything that came after that, X-Men, the Claremont run, all of these Spider-Man, all this stuff, is taking a lot from the Fantastic Four, which is, these are supposed to be realistic humans. If you're thinking about the 1960s and the Human Torch, in the 1960s, what we deem a teenager was still a new concept. It was like you were either a baby or you were an adult. So to see Johnny Storm as this like teen heartthrob was something new and radical. Seeing someone like The Thing, like we take it for granted, where we're just like, oh, we know what The Thing is. I'm like, no, back then, he was this character with so much pathos and so much pain and anger. And I think what's always been difficult and what this movie does so beautifully is it really is showing us like, no, this is why you guys love the Avengers and the X-Men and Spidey, because this was the first family who demonstrated that superheroes could be human and relatable. And you could be like, I see my dad and my mom and my brothers and my sisters in these
And the
characters.
movie leans so heavily on the family aspect. It's like the concrete that makes the movie go. It's the foundation that the movie lies itself on. You spend so much time with Johnny, Reed, Sue, and Ben and their machinations. Like, there's the scene like in the middle after they come back from space and Reed and Sue fight. And it's like kind of a real fight. And they're like, you got to go sacrifice this baby. I know you. I've spent so much time with you. I know this is what you want to do. I'm not going to let you do it. And it's you're kind of watching mom and dad fight and you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this, but it's real. And the movie does a really, really good job of making you believe that, oh, these characters, they know each other, they love each other, they fought battles together, they've been in wars together. This is a real family. When they say we're having a baby and Johnny and Ben like rib each other a little bit, that's just like what uncles do. I thought that them building that, making that the rock that the movie is built upon was just a great stroke of genius.
They also didn't dive into all the traditional tropes about the characters.
Yeah.
Reed was a nerd, but he wasn't he was almost a tragic nerd. Johnny was a ladies' man, but he wasn't girl crazy. Like, the thing was sad about his condition and concerned with it, right? But he was also a person that experienced joy and was there for his family. And Sue was the serious one, but also played it with a light touch.
Yeah.
So they kind of took those characters out of some of the handcuffs, the comic book handcuffs that they've
the super pitched up cliches
that they've always had on them.
In a way, this movie's restraint is its greatest strength, because there's a lot of story that goes with all of these characters and a lot of arcs that you could lean into that are either considered too serious, too dark, too depressing, or too heavy for a lot of these characters to give you in the first movie that they're actually in. And they give us a very simple, albeit sometimes like incredibly elegant story about this family coming in and facing a bigger problem than they've ever actually needed to face.
Right.
I think that that's probably the thing that I've loved the most about this movie, and I have my own sort of like stumbles in between it. But ultimately, I think that the biggest thing that this movie can do is sell us on the family and sell us on the best type of... It's both a palate cleanser and a table setter for what Marvel wants to do in the next like 4 projects.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys to do something real quick.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the family now. We're going to talk about the portrayals. Everybody rank really quickly the Fantastic Four from 4 to 1 based on the portrayals of the characters themselves. From who nailed it all the way down to who nailed it the least. Who had it.
I know where you're going with this.
I know where
you're going with this.
So go. We already know where you at.
I'll start it. Okay. Number 1, most faithful, the portrayal that I liked the most was Thing. Really enjoyed it.
Thing is my number 1 as well.
Thought it was perfect. 2 was tough, but I gotta go with Johnny.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Really?
I gotta go
Vanessa
with Johnny.
Kirby is my number 2.
Vanessa Kirby was fantastic as Sue, but Johnny was slightly better.
Yes.
So Vanessa Kirby is 3, and then 4 was Pedro Pascal. Is really
Well, you were coming down -2 already. You know what I'm saying? You had a handicap.
Are we doing the Pedro talk? Because I actually think what Pedro is doing, because he's overexposed, people aren't going to give him credit for it.
Go for it.
So this might get a little heady. The thing that I think makes Mr. Fantastic hard to do as a character is that essentially in modern times, to keep Mr. Fantastic interesting, what have they had to do in the comics? They've basically had to transform him into not only an asshole, but Dr. Doom. Like, what's one of the most famous recent, Reed characters is Jonathan Hickman turning him into the Maker, or the Council of Reeds. And I think part of that is because when you have this first family who's been around for decades, you have to keep pushing the most interesting parts of these characters. And the most interesting part about Reed is the fact that, like, he's a family man. He loves his wife. He loves his kids. He loves Johnny and the Thing, but he is cursed by his intelligence. What's the one thing that makes him different than Dr. Doom? It's his heart. For this movie, what I realized that Pedro Pascal was doing is I'm like, oh, you're playing Reed closer to like how Cillian Murphy played Oppenheimer, which is just like, this is a guy who's like one day from like destroying the world or knowing what will destroy the world. But when they land back on the planet, he's so bad in front of the press conference. Yeah. He's so like when he's talking to the kids, he's like all in his mind and he's just like, you want to see an explosion? Everybody's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, the interesting thing about this is that I'm like, that's to me a better way to play this character, because the easy thing to do is for Pedro to suck up all the oxygen away from everyone, away from Vanessa Kirby, away from Joseph Quinn, away from the thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you actually, with how overexposed he is, you actually need to make him, you have to take away a little bit from
Take
his
a step
portrayal.
back. Right.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting observation. So the way I look at Reed Richards as a character, the reason why I think that he's become one of the most fascinating comic book characters that is out there is because once you get into what it would be like to be not the smartest man in the world, but the smartest man in the universe, you'd have to confront some darkness.
Yeah.
Because what stops Reed Richards from looking at everything and everyone as numbers and figures?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what stops him from looking at everything as probability, as causality, all of that? And it is his family. I've told you guys this before, and I'll say it. I'm not going to mention names, but I've worked for two different guys I worked with two different guys that are considered mogul types.
Yeah.
One guy was as shrewd as any person I've ever known. Just like ethical, but an absolute killer. Just didn't have it in his makeup to at all be considered about what the ramifications of what he would put out there are. It's just not part of it. You just look at it, you analyze it, you see a mark, you take it down. All right. The other gentleman is as ambitious and as shrewd and competitive as anyone, but he has a family. And his family keeps him from developing all the scars and calluses that the other guy has.
Yeah.
And Reed Richards is that second guy.
Yeah.
Reed Richards is someone that, like, every time he thinks about doing something that is just an equation, he gets pulled back. Somebody pulls him back. And the tension that happens or is happening in the comic book right now, the comic books for the last 15 years, is that he's starting to listen to those people a little bit less because those problems are so big.
Yeah.
And it's starting to put some distance between him and his family. In this movie, I did see that. I saw that Reed was struggling being the guy who had to figure everything out and also be the guy who had to translate that to the people who he loved the most. However, I just kind of never got the sense in this movie that Reed Richards was the smartest man on earth. And that's a stupid criticism, but I don't know how you do that.
Right.
But I never got the sense in this movie that it's almost I feel silly because it's the criticism that people had of Superman. Superman's not fucking strong and all of that stuff. Like Superman's getting his ass kicked. I get it, but in this film, I was kind of not quite there. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
it's all right. I think to answer your first question about who I would rank like 1 through 4 through the portrayals, I think I would go with Vanessa Kirby first because in the lead up to the movie, her and Matt Shackman and Pedro, everybody was talking about how she's the emotional linchpin, right? Like she brings everybody together. She ties everyone together. And I wanted to see how that would work in the movie, right? And we hadn't really seen that in the Fantastic Four portrayal, at least on the movie screen before. And I thought that she did an incredible job bringing those emotions, like reining everybody in when it came time. I know that like the speech, with Franklin, it's kind of like the Superman speech, a little like on the nose about what they're trying to.
That's the worst part of the movie.
It's by far the worst part of the movie.
It's very, very, very much like we are audience.
The Superman and Fantastic Four almost have a very similar problem, which is very interesting.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And we'll talk about it. But I thought like this, again, the argument with her and Reed when they're debating about like, we got it. When she is like, Reed's right, we have to do this for the baby. When she's giving up herself, like she dies to save Franklin, I'm sitting there and I'm like, she's killing it. She's doing an incredible job as Sue. I thought it was great. I think I'd probably go. I mean, Johnny's my guy. I gotta go too. I thought it was muted, but I thought like, again, in a more contemporary way, he was incredible as Johnny. He was smart, yet still, like, witty and, like, giving Reed, like, all the nonsense he usually does. Eben Moss-Baccarat was great as Sting. I thought that was perfect. And, yeah, Reed is very much, like, in the background, but I think there's a reason for that.
I think we would have hated this a lot more if this was the Pedro Pascal movie.
Yeah,
No,
I hate
yeah,
it.
for sure.
A lot more.
You
I didn't
would've-
hate it at all.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hate it at all, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where
Yeah.
we're like, damn, is this just the Pedro show? I was
Sure.
like,
And he's a galaxy right now that could suck up all of the oxygen in a movie like this because he's the biggest guy around right now.
Right.
I kind of agree with you, Van, with the portrayal of Reed. And I don't know if I can't really rest that on Pedro's shoulders rather than how the movie wants to portray him, because I don't really feel like he is the smartest man in the world. I think that he is burdened by his intelligence and like seeing the equations of all of the world's problems. But he seems like it's just more self-serious and burdensome to not let anybody into that calculus rather than accept his family and like kind of let himself step back into the fold of a more open-hearted person. Because me at my most cynical about this movie is like, man, Reed just did a lot of math to think about swapping a baby. And that's really it.
It was his son.
Yeah, I get it. But he was standing at that whiteboard just doing that one thing. I get the fact that he's having to wrestle with a lot. And I think that the way that Pedro plays it is... What?
They fucking hated that take. I was waiting for somebody to jump in, but they were. I'm gonna
all right,
I'm gonna get out of it.
all I was gonna say is like, motherfuckers can't be all 1A, 1A, 1A. This is the best shit ever, and be like, Reed was doing math on a. I was like, all right.
Steve,
I mean, but it's all about
yourself.
the execution. That's
Defend
all it
yourself.
is.
And what I
Like,
will
if
say
you
about
put-
Reed, if I'm gonna be real,
Steve, don't back down.
I'm not backing down.
I know you're
if
not.
I'm
I
gonna
know
be real
you're not.
though,
Yeah.
it's like how many more times, especially in this superhero generation, why I feel like, hey, yo, Pedro actually did a really good job is I'm like, this is set in the 60s.
Mhm.
What in the modern times that not only superhero movies, but in all of these movies we understand is smart, or what they are playing against is like, who is Iron Man modeled after? An Elon Musk type. You know, who is Lex Luthor fucking modeled after? The fucking Mark Zuckerbergs and the Jeff Bezos and the Musks of the world. And I'm like, because that's what we understand of like, I'm not saying that those guys are smart or intelligent, but there's a certain way in the 21st century that these men have taught, well, if you want to be the smartest man in the world, this is how you have to play
Right.
it.
And
yeah.
I don't want that Reed. Like, I don't want that version of him.
And that's not what I was even like hoping for. It's more of the fact that this Reed is so dour and so like against what the calculus of the world is kind of yelling at him to do, and he's just like, he's seeing that answer that the world's yelling at him. I get that he shouldn't be a charismatic Tony Stark type. He shouldn't be that. And he shouldn't have the type of like social acumen that thinks that sacrificing a child, let alone his own, is acceptable. But he's fighting that every time. And I only see that in his face. And there isn't a moment, unless there's a couple of like sparks of it in this movie, where that pressure release valve comes out and the movie kind of shifts into something that I think either in the edit or in the script, there's something a bit more vibrant and energetic happening. And I can talk about the things that happen on the exterior that makes me see that.
I'm confused
But-
because
Oh shit.
the like Galactus shows up. Galactus, we'll talk about him later. I thought it was incredible.
Cool.
He's like, yo, I need your baby or the Earth. You got to pick one. And he comes down and he starts doing the math and he kind of figures out, I don't have any other option. I have the one thing I have to do is sacrifice my baby. I am killing myself trying to figure out another option. And there is not one.
Well, no. The first option was to teleport the Earth away from Galactus. So he did figure out another option.
Later. Right.
Right.
After a minute. But I'm talking about like in that like sec before he figures it out, obviously he's not gonna be quipping. Obviously he's gonna be the muted guy who's like, dog, I'm the smartest guy in the world and I only see the one option. I can't do it. How am I like if I can't do it, like what is there? What else do I have?
Well, the decision to make Franklin, and as we talk about it, I'm coming to it a little bit more. The decision to make Franklin the centerpiece of the action here actually makes Reed dumber.
Probably.
Because the smart thing to do is give the baby to the space god. That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. And he would have actually had the courage to just say it.
And I hate to say this, but the smart thing to do was to give Vision to fucking destroy.
And let me tell you, what wasn't the smart thing to do?
To
put an empty cradle
to destroy Vision. That was the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
The smart thing to do. But when you put a guy like Reed, who's mathing the situation, and the answer is right in front of him, and he has to create another answer, that's when you get the tension within the character. I guess he played Reed in a different way, maybe in a more contemporary way. It's interesting about what you said earlier, or what we were talking about earlier with the so-called smart guys. We actually live in a society now where I don't think we really know who the smart guys are.
Yeah.
Like, we get told who the smart guys are. Like, we get told who the geniuses are. But the actual smart guys, like, we never really hear from them. Like, even with Steve Jobs had an incredible imagination. But the guy who actually built the computer is more interesting than Steve Jobs. Like, like how he just looks at the world and some decisions that he made.
Right.
He was kind of a pragmatist and a humanist and he's actually more interested than the ultra shrewd killer businessman who had this amazing vision but would kill anybody to get there. The way hyper intelligent people view the world is actually more, it's more interesting than how hyper famous captains of industry view it. But those are the guys that we are told are the geniuses. And so, kind of looking at Reed a little bit, I think what I was taken aback by is that he didn't seem to have very much confidence.
And that's
what I loved about it.
But that's the thing that we live in this world where we take the Fantastic Four's word as gospel. If Reed Richards gets on television and is like, hey, everybody turn off your power at 7 p.m. because we need to conserve power to set this teleporter off for the rest of the world, they're going to believe him and it's not going to be questioned at all. Whereas I'm like, okay, so we're in this utopia where apparently all of the world now cooperates and doesn't want to at all make this calculus to not sacrifice this baby because Sue Storm gave a terrible speech in front of the Reed Richards Tower. And I'm supposed to be like, okay, well, if this is going to be the thing that carries that decision, we need to know why Reed Richards is so valuable to this world. Well, I never really felt that.
Well, but here's the thing, and this is why I think it's a subtle choice, and I think a lot of people actually are going to be more on the both of your side. If we're talking about the geniuses that I've met, the guys in the lab that I've met, it's always so funny where you're just like, oh yeah, no wonder you're not confident. You can't talk to people. Reed Richards, the funny thing about him is I'm just like, his best friend is Ben Grimm, but also his best friend is Herbie because he's just like, Herbie, go do this. And it's like when he's talking to Johnny, there was this subtle thing where I'm like, wait, why didn't Reed, every other Reed movie would be like, yeah, he has the spacesuits already done. I'm like, wait, why isn't he fixing the spacesuits? And I'm like, oh, he's embarrassed still. The thing has to be like, don't worry about that. I'm not mad at you. And I'm like, that's what I love about Reed, where I'm just like, oh, it makes sense that Sue Storm is the leader, that she's in front of the UN, that she's leading the Future Foundation. Because what she knows about her husband and what her husband knows about himself is, I'm not a leader. I was a scientist before this. And that's a thing where I'm like, it's not the popular choice to make for the character, but what I actually think what we're gonna come to love about it is I'm like, oh, I would have hated this if the first time we see Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, Pedro Pascal and Robert Downey Jr. are basically kind of doing the same thing. Right. I'm now really interested. I'm like, oh, you kind of have this cuckish.
Jesus, sure, read the cuck.
I mean,
is Reed Richards in the comic not the ultimate?
No, he kind of is.
Against Robert Downey Jr. That's exciting.
But this is my deal. This is kind of why I don't consider the comic book version of Reed a cuck. It's because
She always come back to him.
Not even that.
Yeah. I mean, she's
He
on the
kind of
name.
got better things
Well,
to do.
Right, he's got
Oh
better
my God.
No, I'm being for
Wait,
You gotta land this plane.
Let's be fair to Invisible Woman, okay? They be putting it on her, but she always know where home
I'm
is.
talking about like he's got better things to do. Like she is off batting her eyes at Namor.
Whoa, no.
chill
She's not batting her
out.
eyes at
Like,
Namor.
Namor is
Namor is
pressing.
batting his eyes at her.
Namor
Whatever.
is nasty.
Like whatever. There's stuff that happens, right? She's off doing all of this stuff.
Black Panther.
Has
right?
Namor ever clapped the cheeks?
I don't think he has.
Nah, hell no.
But there's Sue has things. She's not cheating.
What?
Sue is, even her and Doom, there's a little thing. There's something there. There's something there between Sue and some of these
This
other
is
people.
so Saji
This is
right
insane,
now.
Saji.
This
I've
is
just read
insane,
I've just read the
Saji.
comics.
And
All
bro.
right, so can I defend? Wait, I'll let you finish. I wanna-
It's no defense, but I'm saying this. The thing about Reed is that he's aloof.
Yeah.
He's kind of, you can only be a cuck if you care. Like, it's like,
That's true.
you can, he's aloof. He's like, she's over there, he's looking. He's like, oh, that's whatever. Reed has to figure out the problem of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to fix the universe.
If I'm
So,
figuring out time travel, what does
If
it
she
matter
has a
if my
coffee
wife
with somebody else, he's like, I gotta put that
Yeah,
into
but
mathematics.
here's my
funny.
thing.
Yeah.
If this, they've only been the Fantastic Four for 4 years. If I'm like Kevin Feige and I'm the writers, I'm like, oh, we need to start Reed at a place where it's like the Breaking Bad thing. If Walt starts out as the fucking drug kingpin, you don't have a fucking show. You need to show
you have a different
how,
show.
Yeah, you need to show how the fucking nerd becomes the maker. And I'm not saying that that's where they're going, but I'm just like, oh, I think it was a genius choice to be like, oh, we need to start Reed in a place where he's not that aloof. He still has his humanity, because everything that we know about Reed is coming from just almost 100 fucking years of knowing this character and the growth. And I'm like, oh, I think it's going to be more interesting if, like, oh, in the first movie,
To give him an arc.
to give him the arc of, oh, you have to stop someone who's just going to destroy one planet. Now you have to stop someone who's going to destroy a whole multiverse. Oh, now Doom is potentially married to Sue. He has your kids now. What does that do to him? I want to see the aloof Reed after he, in his mind, is like, I saw the whole universe flip.
And you gotta respect Reed. There's a comic run where of future Namor and a future Black Panther come and say, hey man, we come from a world where you kind of went crazy, and we gotta stop it. And while you went crazy, Namor was like, yeah, I kind of got with Sue. It's a whole thing, but like, chill, you know what I'm saying? You went crazy. And the first thing that Reed did when he heard that was say, bet. He pulled out the blicky and shot him in the head. Respect my guy.
Yeah.
Respect my guy.
Crash out Reed.
Well, he crashes out. He's by far to me the most interesting character in the Fantastic Four. The only thing that I would say when I was watching the movie is I was waiting to see a definitive portrayal of Reed Richards. And I think Charles's point is well taken. I think it was more a portrayal of him that you put the character in a really fraught, dramatic scenario, and you're watching the making of the character rather than watching the character fully formed. And that's an interesting.
Can I also say there were elements, and it's so like they go by, but I'm like, oh, Reed is getting his like little fascist shit on, where it's like they walk out of the Baxter building and you see all of the flying cop cars, and he's just like, oh yeah, he wants to protect his son so much. He's just like, yep, I got them, and I got them villains, and I got all of them. And I'm like, there were those subtle moments, and they weren't pitched up. And maybe I think his character would have worked a little bit better if they were pitched up more. But I was like, oh, not only is Reed thinking about sacrificing his child, he's just like, if I really, really wanted to, I could get rid of every single fucking villain in this city tomorrow.
Because I made the nice looking police state. That is New York.
That was the thing where I was like, oh.
Can I ask a question is this movie ultimately more interesting because the old Fantastic Four movies were so oriented around the push-pull between Doom and Reed.
Mm-hmm.
This one is not. It's not really a Reed-centric movie at all.
Yeah.
Did that make it a better movie?
I think so.
do.
I think so.
I like there's so many different directions that this movie could have gone, and to make it this is very interesting to know that like Reed is not on the back burner, but he's certainly not center stage. And to see all of these other characters like the Thing, which I think I would put at number 1 for that portrayal, and then Johnny second. To get a lot of screen time and like have a lot of fun with. I think that that's the movie knowing its strength, but I still think that there's like a smaller bit of untapped potential that comes with the middling of those stakes, because those stakes get very high very quickly because we have a lot of montages, we have a lot of things that like set stakes and like push them forward very quickly in order for us to get to really thrilling things that I loved genuinely about this movie. And it feels a little asynchronous.
So the reason why I probably like this movie was because of the restraint of, I think we talked about this for Superman. Van, you were just like, yo, James Gunn didn't trust the audience. And you weren't being, obviously you love the movie, but it's like, Superman's not enough. Superman needs to have Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner. He was trying to prove that he could create a universe. And the thing that I was worried about so much in this movie is that because they finally have these characters, they were going to speed run through this shit. They're like, yo, we want the Thing versus the fucking Hulk. We want Namor up in this bitch. We want to do everything possible because we have these characters. And I think what Kevin Feige might be telling us about the future of the MCU and maybe even like the X-Men is like, hey, yo, like, let's slow down. Just because I think that they did that with Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well, they put Franklin Richards in the movie, so they're not slowing down that much.
Right. But here's the thing. They put Franklin Richards in the movie, but
which is an insanely ambitious thing to do in a film, the first film. The audience has no idea what type of character exists in the MCU now. There's so many
here's
questions.
the thing. What I loved about it is, even though, yes, we know, and after this, like, let's go to Jomi Explainer to kind of explain Franklin's importance. But what I loved is they still kept his introduction rooted in character, rooted in story, which this is a
He's
story.
just their baby.
He's just a baby, and this is about, it's a very subtle thing where it's like, this is about what happens when a mom has a child, and because the child was literally in her stomach, she has an emotional connection, and what happens with the smartest man in the world, who is so bad with his emotions, has to develop that on the fly, and the genius of that being, all right, you're the smartest man in the world, God says you need to sacrifice your son to save the world. I'm like, oh, I can get behind that, and we will get to the Franklin bullshit later. But what Jomi Explainer, let's clear out. Can you briefly explain Franklin Richards to the writers and the mob?
I mean, the simplest thing is that he is, not even arguably, probably the most powerful mutant in the Marvel universe, probably the most powerful person in the Marvel universe. Reality warping, molecular manipulation, telepathy, telekinesis, energy blast, like the whole thing, basically on the same level as Celestials, like Galactus, like Arishem that we saw in the Eternals. Legitimately, like, from Marvel.com, Franklin Richards is a powerful mutant and travels the multiverse with Earth's first family of superheroes, the Fantastic Four. Legitimately terrifying how scary he is.
Whatever he can see, he can do.
He can create pocket universes on a whim, just decide to make a replica. He did in the comics. He made a replica of Earth 616 just for fun, just for the love of the game. You know what I mean? And that's the reason Galactus wants him, because Galactus and Shellbow, who's Silver Surfer, are all connected by the power cosmic, right? Galactus needs to eat in order to survive. He doesn't want to do that. He's like, I'm good, actually. I would like to, not have to do this. That baby is my ticket out. He's the power cosmic incarnate.
Yeah.
Like just a natural vessel of that power that can release Galactus from whatever prison he's in. He needs that in order to let go, to be gone. And so it's like these two like legitimate gods at odds with one another. It's insane. We literally bringing Sue back to life is light work.
That was one part.
He
of
did
the
it when
movie
he was a
they were
baby.
like,
Did it when his baby.
when Sue was dying. I'm just like, Frank, gonna bring her back. I'm like,
Yeah, that CGI baby's gonna bring her back.
The CGI baby was tough. But no, it's when she's like dead, because when she falls back, I was like, man, she got major CTE. That's grim. Her head hit the pavement, crazy. But like he's doing the compressions, and Ben's like, she's gone. I was like, oh snap! Oh well, forgot. My bad. They
By the
got
way,
the baby.
The thing about Franklin, when I watched that scene, I also thought about how dangerous Franklin Richards is.
How so?
Well, obviously, there were things that they had to do to him, that Richards had to do to him as a kid to keep his powers in check, right? This is a big part of his childhood. Franklin Richards doesn't know that he did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know.
Right.
He's not, for as powerful as he is, I mean, he didn't come out the womb talking, right? So he doesn't, there are human developmental restraints still on the baby. He did that with his emotions. It's kind of like Jack from The Incredibles.
The first,
Like,
he is Jack
It's
Jack.
kind of like Jack. Well,
really
shit,
the
Jack is him. It's kind of like Jack from The Incredibles when Jack is, chasing after the raccoon and all of his powers are manifesting themselves. Jack isn't trying to do it. He doesn't have control over it yet.
Right.
He just it's happening because his intuition is presenting a power. Franklin was sad when he saw his mom. There's a connection there, and all of a sudden, his powers activated themselves and did what they were supposed to do. That's incredibly dangerous. It's dangerous to have someone who is not emotionally in control be able to affect things. What if he gets mad over ice cream?
Right.
And he turns the entire Baxter building into ice cream.
The Baxter building, brother. He can turn
you know what I mean?
universe.
Yeah.
So, like, even that, it presents the character is, so, and they've always, a lot of these feats that he's done, he did them as a kid.
Yeah.
Like the onslaught thing, Franklin was still in elementary school.
Yeah.
When he gets older, him and Galactus actually have a great relationship. But like, it's so awesome to see that power right there and to see it on screen, and also to know that there's actually really no way to control it other than to fuck with his brain.
Is he our new Scarlet Witch in this universe?
He's our new Gaia.
We got three. We got the big three.
Gaia, Scarlet Witch,
And Franklin.
Also, before we go to because I think we should go to Villain Corner, but I do want to give a shout out. I thought Eben Moss-Bacharach did such a fucking good job as the Thing. The most faithful portrayal, and what I loved about it was they made such a smart choice where his arc in the movie is almost like so small that if like with everything going on, you can maybe not be paying attention.
I think they cut a lot of it out.
They cut a lot of that out. I can
because I think a lot of the Natasha Lyonne stuff. I think she was supposed to be. I think she was supposed to be in the movie a lot more. I think they cut a lot of it
because
out.
that romantic arc kind of just went nowhere after he went to Temple.
But
And that was it.
What I will say is what I loved about his portrayal was like, I was like, oh, usually with the Thing, they heighten it up where it's like, I'm so ugly. Oh my gosh, my life is ruined.
Yeah.
And with this, you almost got the sense where you're like, oh, even if he was still human, he wouldn't know how to talk to this woman. Like everybody in the world, the kids, everybody loves him. And there's still something about him that's
I got a little like Rocky with Adrian kind of a thing where he's just like, man, I don't really know what to do with this girl, but like, I guess I gotta try, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, shit, that Rocky wasn't like that.
I mean, he would like, he's still.
We watched that movie.
Rocky's a dumb man.
Rocky
wait a
pun
second.
is not lost on me.
Y'all gotta watch Rocky again. We remember the movie that way. I know why you think that. Right. We remember the movie that way. Me and Chris and Bill did Rocky on the Rewatchables.
That date is nuts.
Rocky had Adrian in his romantic fly trap from the beginning. Rocky hollers at Adrian at the store. Then he goes to get Paulie, and then Rocky and Adrian have a date. They come back to Rocky's apartment. He immediately gets sexy. He's in the tank top. He's doing this. And actually, after a while, I was starting to look at it, and I'm like, it was the 70s. I'm going to let Rock do his thing because
different
some of
time.
this shit.
It's bad, but
Like,
you know,
Do you
some
think
of that
Rocky was
shit,
playing a little bit dumb around Adrian and try to get the draws?
No, Rocky was dumb.
Rocky unlocked Adrian in that movie. Like by the end of the movie, there's so much about their relationship in Rocky that people don't remember. By the end of the movie, Adrian trying to climbing all over Rocky when Rocky got to get ready for the Creed fight.
I don't feel great about that now that I am remembering.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't feel great about that.
That was totally Rocky had designs on
Way
Adrian
different
from the
time.
beginning. From the beginning.
So
he
bad
had
example
designs on her.
for that. But no, it's just like he's just a shy dude that didn't really know how to handle a girl that he liked. And that's, I think, was very, very touching.
I think Evan Bacharach played that wonderfully. I thought Joseph Quinn, I thought it was such a great choice where I'm like, oh, what he wants more than anything, more than any of the women, more than Silver Surfer, he wants to be useful to this family. He wants to be smart. He wants them to take him seriously. So I thought him being like, no, I got this. And him kind of like pitching his sister like, no, I figured out the language, whatever. I was like, that's way more interesting
he did do it
than
for a girl.
Playboy Human Torch.
That
It was amazing.
right there was the most ambitious and effective choice in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
To give Johnny some utility where he is using his brain because, Johnny Storm has never really been portrayed as dense, but they dial it back. He's a fucking astronaut.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Yeah.
an accomplished guy.
Yeah.
To have Johnny actually do something that only he could do, partly because she's a hot space chick,
Yeah.
but also because he puts the energy and the time into it to unlock this big piece of the puzzle, was fantastic. I thought the subversion of his character
Really worked.
Yeah.
really worked.
It was
Even
great.
so much more, even a little bit more than the Reed thing. The Reed thing made the movie, you've talked me into the Reed thing, but the Johnny thing actually grounded the movie and gave it an extra dimension that it wouldn't have otherwise had.
This is the Human Torch that could be friends with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which I loved. Which I'm just like, oh, these two would meet and like hit it off. I don't think in any other portrayal that was ever real because like, even though Joseph Quinn isn't playing him like a teenager, he still has that like that boyish charm of, damn, like I know I'm always playing around with y'all, but I do want Reed to respect me. I do want my sister to take me fucking seriously. Even the fact where it's like, you could tell he's still the heartthrob, but there is something about him where I'm like, no, women like him not only because he's hot, but like he's charming and
They liked him like they liked Paul McCartney and the Beatles.
Yeah, like that was a great choice.
When she says, "Hey, my brother's single,"
Right.
Yeah.
he actually goes. He actually kind of is like, "Oh."
And people were worried about that. When we
Right.
saw it the first time, we were like, is Johnny not going to be for the ladies? Like, what's the plan?
Because if you look at like Chris Evans as Johnny, like, he was all over. He was going to be.
I think Chris Evans did a great job as Johnny.
It's a different version,
but it's just a different version.
Yeah. And they both work for their respective teams.
Mantle Wars. The Mantle Wars is coming.
Oh boy,
Mantle Wars.
Mantle Wars.
What is Mantle Wars?
No,
Jomi gotta do his thing.
He's it's the definitive. Who is this character if they've played multiple
Mantle
characters?
Wars is happening on the Midnight Boys. Mantle Wars is coming.
We got like who is Spider-Man? Who was Superman?
Who is Batman? Mantle Wars is coming on the Midnight Boys. We're going to do a special Mantle Wars
So
podcast.
if we're talking villains, we got to talk Galactus and Silver Surfer to an extent. Galactus is he's the master of the power cosmic, right? And the physical embodiment of the cosmos, right?
Great.
He's basically just an entity that has to eat planets to survive. And he is given just a little sliver of the power cosmic, if you will, to Shadowbow, who is in the comics normally the lover of Norrin Radd, who's the Silver Surfer that has been in the comics forever. But in this particular comic, Earth X, which is like, I don't read it. It's way too dense. I tried my best last night and almost died. Right, I had to watch something to get me caught up. It's got humans in it. It's nuts. But essentially, in that story, she takes on the herald of she becomes herald of Galactus as Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Radd. And in an interesting twist, Galactus in that storyline is actually Franklin Richards. So I think that like Earth X played a really big role in making this movie happen. In terms of the Galactus in this movie, the best parts of the movie by far are when Galactus
Terrifying.
and the Fantastic Four on screen. When they go into the thing and his eyes pop for the first
Fucking
time,
nuts.
Nice.
I legitimately was like, my heart, like yours, went. I was like, oh my gosh,
They did it.
was
Knocks it down.
amazingly scary, and I thought that
Going Godzilla through New York. Was
legitimately the best scenes of the movie are when they are going toe to toe with him. It was awesome.
Wait, can I ask this? Because to your point, Galactus, when he shows up, that was when I was just like, oh, fuck it. Yes, we can still do this. Like, we can still take these kooky characters, put them on screen, and we can make them work. It was an electric moment. Now, if we talk about the third act, that's where I feel like the Galactus stuff did not live up to the first act. Where it's like they present this guy and it's just so amazing.
You feel like he worked
and
better in space than he did on Earth.
Yeah. Where it's like, I like the kaiju of like when he like picks up.
That's cool.
That shit was
He's like
cool.
feeling the ground.
But the whole Invisible Woman pushing him shit, that shit was when it was like, I was like, this is, you can see the flops.
So it didn't bother me that much. It didn't bother me at all. I thought it was great. But that's always been the fear around the character.
Mm-hmm.
The fear around the character is that, you know, if you're in space and he's sitting there on a throne, it's cool. But like, when he's got to walk next to buildings, that it just looks a little crazy. I thought that they pulled it off just because Galactus is a very self-serious and relatable villain.
Yeah, you like to eat planets?
Well, he's not. He's a natural disaster.
Yeah.
He's a force. He's a force of nature. It's not only is Galactus a force of nature in terms of his hunger makes him do what he does. It's also a situation to where Galactus is being used by Celestials to keep the universe in balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of a weird thing to hate him. He has to be stopped, but has to be stopped like
he wishes he could stop himself.
Right. Like the actor said that he's more like a hurricane than he is, and that's kind of the way he has to be stopped.
I think the first scene, like from him showing up to them escaping the black hole, best scene in the movie, like easily. I was like,
surfing.
Oh my god,
the fucking fire was dope.
Dog. It was incredible. The visuals. Them like figuring out how to escape, like
while she's giving birth
in the black hole, like just incredible. Again, the Silver Surfer through the lava, coming like surfing through the accretion disk,
getting stretched out through the black hole.
Come on, like spaghettification was crazy. That whole bit was awesome. The scene at the end, I enjoyed it. I know y'all mad because how is Invisible Woman holding
That's
up
not actually why I was mad. I just
like,
thought it kind of looked, for a movie that I thought for most of its run looked really, really good.
Yeah,
the third act was when I started being like,
when he went like, and you know this, when he went down and touched the grass and like picked it up, I'm like,
that was
oh
dope.
man, he Les Miles, man.
Yeah,
he out there just like
you should have done the chop toss.
I enjoyed, watching him stomp through New York. The older I get, the more all of that destruction just bothers me. And I'm like, God damn, they killed.
Well, they got people into Subterranean really quick.
Mo Man is the real MVP. Mo Man is my nigga.
Quick ISO for Mo Man.
Mo Man is my guy.
Mo Man's the best.
It's always tough for me to watch all those buildings get destroyed because I'm like, man, they got to rebuild that shit. But I didn't mind the Galactus stuff at the end. I knew that some people would. Because it's like, oh my God, now this guy is on the earth. But I didn't mind it at all. I thought he was the most effective origin story villain in the MCU's history.
Ooh. Okay.
Your first movie.
Okay.
Loki?
Better.
Right. Better than Loki.
Yeah. The only one that was tough for me was Killmonger.
Killmonger is better.
I don't know.
Killmonger's better, but I would put Galactus is in my top 5.
I don't know. I'm talking about origin story villains.
So you're talking like
you can't. Thanos doesn't count.
No. He wasn't the villain of anyone's origin story. Never was.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Ultron doesn't count. Loki and Avengers doesn't count.
Like
Ultron
could kind of count, but not really. I'm talking about it's your first movie.
Yeah, like Iron Man, Captain America,
Black
the first
Panther,
Thor,
Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, origin story villain, the Eternals.
You might be right then.
Like origin story villain. I mean, obviously, he's by far the most famous origin story villain of all of those, right? Because some of these other characters, like Spider-Man, didn't go with what
They went with Green Goblin.
Well, no, I'm talking the first Spider-Man.
Oh, Vulture.
He's right there. I'm always talking about it in the MCU.
Okay.
Because if you talk about origin story villains, then you're talking about fucking like Jack Nicholson and the original Batman. Lex Luthor. I'm talking about in the MCU.
Okay.
But in the original Spider-Man, they went with Vulture, which was great. Vulture was great. Vulture would be in the top 5. But the movie took off once Galactus got
Yes, absolutely.
So, do you feel like Silver Surfer got a little underserved? Where nothing, Shawball, the character, I loved all of it. There was dope moments, but Silver Surfer just has such an important part, I feel like, in culture and comic book lore, and just kind of just the torture of that character. And that was almost that was another weak part of the movie where I was like, I just needed more Silver Surfer. I thought the flashbacks were kind of
we didn't need those.
They didn't land Silver Surfer as well as I would have liked them to.
No.
It wasn't bad, but not great.
I thought they did. I mean, I've never been that into the Silver Surfer.
Never like him.
You never read Silver Surfer Requiem? Great comic.
I like the Silver Surfer when the Silver Surfer is used as a sad boy in space.
Yeah.
Sad boy in space.
Sitting on his board, just...
I'm chilling. The look of the character is always so stunning that when you see the Silver Surfer on the cover of a comic, you just want to buy it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I think the Silver Surfer is always... This movie inverted the last Fantastic movie, which made the Silver Surfer a big deal and Galactus a small deal.
Yeah.
This movie kind of made Galactus a bigger deal and the Silver Surfer a little bit of a smaller deal. It's really more equal, but and I thought that worked. Yeah. I like the Silver Surfer as being somebody that comes in and just does really cool shit and has a little bit of a bite of story and then gets out of the
just like got to farm some aura real quick and is out of there.
Destroy all the teleporters on Earth.
Right.
I like that that she still did the Jennifer Garner thing with her mouth.
Even through the CGI.
Even through the Silver Surfer. You know when she does like this?
Yeah!
It's a good effect. Like for a CGI character, that's a really good looking CGI character.
Because I always wondered, because actors have these different things that they do. Yeah. Brad Pitt used to always do like this. Yeah, whenever he was talking, he would do like that.
Or what did Tarantino say he hates about George Clooney, where
the
he
head
learned
shaking?
The head shake because he learned how to act because he was on ER. He was like looking and then always at his lines, and now you can notice when he's acting, he does a down and up.
He does a little the head thing like that. George Clooney, I remember he did it as Batman.
Yeah,
and it was distracting because words were doing this. So they have all these little things, and I saw her do the little mouth thing as a Silver Surfer. I was like, oh.
It's cool when you see like a CGI character like have an affect that an actor has.
Can I also just say the funniest part of the movie where I was just like, oh, I just wanted so much of this was when Paul Walter Hauser as Mole Man, they need his help. And he walks into the Baxter building and he's just giving Reed so much shit. He's like,
an apology from him.
I want an apology from him.
You gotta ask.
This was so good, it almost made me want this to be the movie, or at least like a good portion of the movie. Not to say, obviously I would love more Mole Man, but the idea that the movie loosens up a lot when he is on screen.
Yep.
And the way in which those characters bounce off of Mole Man, like Reed's talking shit, Johnny hates him, like he's like, turn the lights down, walking through all of these things, like that brash 60s villains, like it was so...
He should have been in the movie way
more.
Wait,
do you think do you think like Natasha Lyonne, like they cut probably some stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The Mole Man thing, like it really gave the movie I don't know, it added so much to it. It gave the movie a little bit of stickiness for some reason. You could see their characters more.
Single scene.
When he was on screen with them, when he was on screen with Reed, you could see Reed a little bit more. You could see Sue a little bit more. You could see them
everybody's
a little bit more
more animated in that scene. And it's like, it's a window into something that's just like a classic comic book adventure come to life where everybody is like working on all cylinders. And it's punctuated perfectly. And even when he's like ushering in all those people into Subterraria, which by the way, I think is like, it's the Jersey Highway and then Subterraria.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
He's got the best line in the movie too, where everybody's coming in. He's like, wipe your feet. It's like, just kidding. It's
I'm
all
kidding.
dirty.
It is
Yeah.
all
Like, what was the
dirty.
joke he had where he's just
Don't be
like,
mad at me, Johnny. I didn't dress you.
he was like,
Yeah.
oh, we all need, it's the end of the world. We all need to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I was just every line he had. But what I want to know from y'all is, do you think that this movie, like Feige and Co., were a little bit more tuned into not making this so quippy and not making this like a typical MCU? Because like I actually like that they dialed back the Josh Whedon dialogue quick back and
I don't know who would be quippy in this. It would be Johnny, right? But because obviously, like, we talked a lot about Reed, like Sue wouldn't do that. That's not really what things does. It would just be the Johnny Fest. I don't think the movie. I don't even think it's on purpose. I think legitimately the movie doesn't work if you're like, all right, we got to give somebody quips. It's Johnny,
Right?
Bet, boom. Or even Reed. Like, it would just be a completely different and frankly worse movie. It doesn't work if they're doing the 2012 Josh Whedon type beat that they've been doing forever.
And maybe we take that for granted because it feels so lopsided when it's only a single scene with Mole Man where like suddenly everything is electric and we're all smiling and the movie's just lighter. It loses like 30 pounds off of its self-seriousness. But in contrast to what the movie actually is, I think that if we had it more consistently throughout, maybe we would have liked it a little bit more. I might have been a bit higher on it, only because it felt so dour. Obviously, it's still a good movie.
Interesting.
Because of the fact that like it has all of the weightiness, like the portrayal of Reed works better in the movie without Mole Man because it feels like such a 180 from everything.
The tone of the movie was, so I didn't feel it to be dour at all. Maybe a little bit. I can understand that. When I think of dour, I think about Man of Steel to where I'm like, fuck,
yeah, no,
bro.
not like gray and dour.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Or
No,
the Dark World, some of that I was like,
No, I'm like,
Sure.
Man of Steel, I'm like, shit,
But the movie
bro.
does take itself
Like-
very seriously.
Like, pick, you Superman, nigga, be happy about it. What the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But I see what you're saying. I think the tone of the movie took a little bit of getting used to, but it was more because there was a lot happening.
Yeah.
These were like television scenes almost. And at first I was like, man, is Shackman not up to the job of like this big, huge, these scenes were going quick. They were going quick. It was them, boom, boom.
And then
boom,
montage for
boom,
five
boom,
Yeah, they
months
spent
ahead.
the first 30
boom,
minutes
boom,
going
boom.
like, hey, these Fantastic Four, here's what they've been doing these last 4 years.
And
right, which kind of started in almost like an episode of television. I think I heard or saw somebody else say that. But once the movie kind of established itself, I felt like the humor came from it was very reminiscent and true to life to me of like how humor actually happens in the actual family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How you're kind of like fucking with each other a little bit, how you kind of know each other a little bit, how like, example, I don't know why Kalika can find stuff. I don't know why I can't find anything.
Like in the house?
Like, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's because she puts the stuff there.
Uh-huh.
But
Like where's the paper towels?
like
Where's
I'm
the-
leaving out this morning, and I'm like, yo, where is the omega-3 vitamins? And then I'm doing the whole thing about, then a hand goes out and there's the omega-3 vitamins. That's funny. Like it's funny that Reed loves his brother-in-law, but you have to wonder how much he likes him.
yeah.
Sure.
Like that's funny. Like a lot of the humor comes from that. But I do have questions about the movie, and I want to get into my questions right now. I want to talk about some surprises, because there are some surprises.
Yep. Yes.
There were some surprises. First question. Why is this movie in the 60s?
I think
Like, why does it have to take place? Why did the movie have to take place in the 60s?
Well,
I think now
my-
that I saw it, this movie could only take place in the 60s.
right.
Tell me why.
To me, when you're like, okay, what didn't work about the other Fantastic Four movies? I think what you were talking about is like, these are zany, super like almost pulpy characters. You can tell, like, to me, the Fantastic Four are the bridge, because like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, they're growing up on the pulp horror
Of course.
genre, and the Fantastic Four are getting us into the pop art 60s superheroes that we know. And I'm like, to land that is very, very hard in modern times.
I actually I kind of disagree respectfully, but I see it purely as
Respectfully.
aesthetic. It's purely aesthetic and branding for me. To know that this is Marvel's first family that started in the 60s to encapsulate looks alone.
As like a tribute to Jack Kirby.
As a tribute to Jack Kirby. Like, we don't have any of the political machinations that happened in the 60s in this movie. And that's fine.
Well, where's Jim Crow?
Of course.
They're not gonna,
and that's
y'all
not
wanted them to put Martin Luther King. They're not going to do that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, it was funny. I think Reed solved racism.
Maybe.
That's what it was.
I really do.
Maybe that's why they listen to him on TV every day.
I think Reed solved racism. I think because Reed Richards comes along and he's all of these technological advances and all of that stuff. I think all of that technology that they had in that weird retro futuristic way, I think they maybe got overrated because they was.
I can give you iPhones right now. You just got to be nice
Sarah Niles
to
was right there.
color.
She was there, the right-hand woman.
But
if we're going to be real, if anything was solved
I thought
racism,
Reed was going to look at that black reporter and go, "You don't talk to me like that, bro."
Jesus Christ. Hey,
I'm Mr. Fantastic, nigga.
Yo. Hey, there's
man.
This is
this
reporting section is for whites only. The colored section's in the back.
It would have been funny if the black guy would have just asked him the question and he just looked at him like, okay, CBS.
Wait. So what are Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. doing? Like, if
we being real, think about 2025. The thing that would get all of us to stop fighting is if some astronauts went to space and came back with superpowers. We'd be like, "Oh, yo, it's lit."
All right, no more.
Also, if it was some bigger shit going on, if there were threats, if there was some guy, I'm gonna destroy all of New York, you'd be like, yo, man, chill on all of this other shit. Just give us the rights, okay? We got the rights.
Can you imagine if the Mole Man was in New York City right now?
For real, it's like, how are you gonna be mad at the person that live across the street from you when the whole fucking thing is about
when the whole building just collapses into the earth?
Yeah, so maybe that's what happened, but I thought. And another fake out that happens in the movie, me and Mallory talked about this a little bit, was that there was the assumption that this world would die, that Galactus would consume this world, and that the Fantastic Four would be sort of adrift out in space, and they had to leave. Maybe they had to just send Franklin, and the rest of them had to go some other places or whatever. But that didn't happen.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Okay.
I'm really glad that did not
But that would be another thing that would have explained the time period, because
it's a different Earth. It's Earth 828.
So what I will say, if we take in the MCU when I think it works, to me, I'm like, the fantastic work in the 60s in the same reason why Kevin Feige was like, we need to do a Captain America movie in World War II. Like, for you to understand this character, what he means to this universe.
What a fantastic point.
Like, all of the, like,
you've changed.
We have to do it in this like time period.
Yeah,
what it doesn't work is Captain Marvel in the 90s.
Do you realize how fucking effective? I'm gonna say this aloud. Do you realize how fucking effective as a podcaster you are when you're not doing the bit? You're not doing
when you
the
like
bit.
something.
Well, like when you're
it's not a bit. I like this movie.
You're not doing the bit, and what a fantastic point.
Yeah, but like,
stay on top. Like what that fucking.
Keep doing
I
that.
like this movie.
I like when you shoot.
But Chuck,
You shoot like that.
You shoot like that. No, but like I slightly counter that to say that like it works in Captain America because
Steve's
it actually
He's taking over the hater.
I'm not gonna be a good hater. I promise I won't. I promise I won't be a good hater. But it works in Captain America very well because it actually takes it into World War II in a more real way than what the 60s is, because it's purely aesthetic. The world is utopic in this movie.
Right.
But
Everybody
it's
gets along.
utopic.
There's
in the way that to me Star Trek
what are you talking
is.
about? They got supervillains.
They got supervillains, but like the world gets along. We have like flying cars. Everybody like is like I see a
But they
unification.
obviously got people that are trying to take over the world.
Yeah,
So it's
but
not
World War
utopic.
II is
But even think about, because this is what I think was a smart choice. When I walked out of this, I was like, oh, this is like a Star Trek episode. You know, this is like the Jetsons, where it's like this version of this future. What I think was really smart about it is like, this is actually how people thought about the future in the 60s. Yeah. There's going to be no racism.
It's what Star Trek actually is.
Like, and I was like, oh, that's a really good way into this family, because I'm like, I'll put it to you this way. The things that I bumped up with in Superman, that I think kind of like you have to do is like, if you're going to set Superman in the modern times, you want Superman to go up against the ills of the world because he represents hope. For me in the Fantastic Four, I'm like, there was so much shit happening in the 60s. I don't know if I want a bunch of white people.
And we should talk about this because this is part of what being a black fan of anything saddles you with. My world is formed through the struggle for black justice.
Yeah.
Like that's how I was raised. I was raised to understand abundance through scarcity. So like I'm somewhere and I go, oh, you're happy for this meal. You pray for this meal, not because the meal is nourishing you, but because there are people who are not eating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a fundamental part of the way you look at stuff. Like there was a point, I'm looking at all of this stuff, and then there was a point to when I realized that nobody black had made any of the stuff that I loved as far as sci-fi and comic book stuff. Yeah. And then my mother goes, "It's actually not true, son. You love this, you love that, you love that. But there's a way that you view this stuff." So like when I would watch Mad Men, I liked Mad Men a lot, but I'll be like, what the niggas is up to, man? I know it's like what's going on in the Mad Men situation.
X-Men. Name me your favorite black X-Men writers. This is a book about, the metaphor is supposed to be about race. And that's the thing, as a black fan, you gotta do, you be like, damn, the X-Men my favorite, but they don't let no niggas write this shit.
But also, can I be real with you? It's a double-edged sword. And the reason why it is because so much of this stuff is fantasy. And as I've gotten older, what I've asked myself is, am I saddling myself with the ills and realities of my world and muting my escapism by not being able to fall into a vision of the 60s where these things aren't happening?
Yeah.
And it's not an easy question to answer because it actually even comes back to your own creativity. Every time I write something or every time I conceptualize something, that's in there. So I'm not on the stars or on another planet. And a lot of these writers aren't either. They're using these things to like make commentary about stuff that's happening in our actual world.
Yeah.
But I want it to be direct. Yeah. I want Thing to be walking down the street and see some black people at a sit-in and look at them, and then they look back at Thing, and then Thing goes and destroys the Woolworths. Like I want it to like you know what I mean? Like I want it to be direct. I'm not saying that had to be in this movie. I'm just saying that if something's set in the 60s, the first thing I think is niggas is catching hell. And that is
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw all the black people,
and
like to your point, when I saw all the black people at the press conference, like gay that breed, I was just like, damn.
You're brave. Well,
I was like, shit.
Don't worry. In once they reboot the whole universe, it's gonna be seeing a Johnny hanging out with Peter Parker. Peter's gonna be like, yeah, man, I'm in college right now. I'm taking African American studies. You learn about Jim Crow. He's gonna be like, what? And be like, don't worry, bro. Let me educate you.
Wait, can I be real though? Let me pitch you on something. This is why I actually want another Fantastic Four movie. Can you imagine if we had a version of Black Panther from the 60s?
From this
world?
Oh,
like, can you imagine
like his dad?
Oh no. Well, are they Are they helping? Are they out there?
I'm guessing.
Here's the thing. Our version of Black Panther, he coming to New York. He's like, I'm freeing my people. Fuck y'all.
Can y'all imagine? See, this is the type of shit, I'll tell you why I'm never gonna have like crazy money. One is because my talent isn't commensurate with that much money. But I would also say that like I would do stupid stuff with it.
Yeah.
When we wrote Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance, I was like, if I was Jeff Bezos, I would have this at my house.
Right.
You're no better than him. I would have like all of the other shit. I would have this at my house. I would have this at my house, and there would be people that worked it full time.
This would be how you get breakfast in the morning.
People would come over, and they would come over to the crib. We come over to the crib, and I'd be like, "Hey, do y'all
that is actually one of the greatest Ringerverse moments of my life. Riding that ride was literally
three times in a row.
And I would be like, "Yo, y'all want to go ride of the Resistance?"
You would take meetings on it.
Take meetings on it. The whole thing. I would have it at my house.
Wait, I would say, if it was me, can you imagine having like a shoddy over be like, hey, yo, I gotta show you something.
We go over it. But remember, I'm talking. It's totally static. And all these people all day long.
The line operators
It's
are doing
totally
things.
tight.
$1 billion
I'm
operation.
talking about it's costing $300 million a year for me. Like fuck it, right?
So just
Like,
run Riders of Resistance,
you know what I'm
whatever
saying?
you want.
Like, I'm helping people, right? I'm already a billionaire,
Yeah.
so I fucked over untold numbers of people to
At
get
that
to where
point,
I'm at.
what's
Yeah,
one
what's
more?
that? What's the difference do it make, right?
Nah, you're gonna get the kids from the community, you know? You can be
Yeah,
like, hey, yo,
no,
you want good at you want good
So
actors from
it's
around
Rise
the
of the Resistance with a Z. I think it's- but if I was Black Panther and I had those powers and I was in Wakanda, I'd have spent the entire 60s fucking over white people. The whole
Even
60s.
the utopic 60s?
Well, the utopic 60s, they wouldn't need it. But
Right.
I would be down there just just doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Right.
Going into places where it says whites only, jumping back behind the fucking thing.
Oh, man.
Eating all of their shit, throwing it on the fucking ground. Pick it up!
And they would have tried to shoot you, but you got the
Bing,
vibranium
bing,
on you.
bing,
You
bing,
good.
bing. Cause
Bro.
scratching the shit out of people, leaving scars on people's faces, like scratch, all types of shit would have been going on. I'd have been one of Dr. King's bodyguards.
You want to know what? The police got the dogs out at the civil rights. We bringing the fucking rhinos in. I'm bringing the whole fucking
just fucking
just
clean
vibranium
over
horns
them.
and shit.
Right.
Having Shuri or whoever cut the water off. Oh, there's no more hose water.
Do you go
you're
as
fucked.
far as to when they doing the Montgomery bus boycott? You like, hey, all my niggas, we gon' ride on this Wakanda.
The spaceship.
Joint right here.
Let's keep it
Everybody
pushing. Would have had a car. And we'd have been
No, we had
zooming
spaceships.
all
We like,
spaceships.
yo,
Yeah.
the buses for y'all.
Y'all got the
Y'all
bus.
got the bus.
Y'all
We
got the
zooming
bus.
all over Montgomery.
Can
It
you
must be-
imagine black people? Ghost Rider.
In 1965,
Bruh, can you-
man?
I just gotta say this, like, man. Shout out to T'Chaka. I know you, T'Chaka, bruh. Or maybe that would have even been. Try to think of how old T'Chaka would have been. Nah, it would have been him, like T'Chaka or his
60s?
dad or whoever it was. For them niggas just not to care, bruh.
That's a lot.
They was
It
on
was
some
a
different
lot.
shit, bruh.
Bro, we
They had to
think
watch
about
the
it.
news every day.
Because
Oh shit! It makes sense. Jomi's
all
party.
right,
Oh.
all right.
It
Okay.
makes sense.
Me,
They
Here
were
it
all
comes.
hugged up
me.
while we was
How
on
this come back? How did
Y'all was acting like the Wakandans.
Y'all was
What
acting
I
like the
say? What?
Wakandans at your party.
See, what-
Y'all was probably giving out little pieces of vibranium over there in that huddle. Y'all was acting like the
That's
Wakandans.
crazy.
Y'all was acting like the Wakandans.
Yo,
That's why.
this is nasty work, Jomi.
Nasty work, Jomi.
Calm down. We would not do that. Don't act like that. That's great. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
I mean, if we go back through the history books, I kind of already did it. But anyway.
Can we get back to Fantastic Four? Should we
my
talk
goodness.
about? We gotta talk about Doom.
Yeah,
so the
take it
Doom
away.
thing is interesting because
Wait, before you explain, let's just talk about like what actually happens in that stinger. Before.
Right. It's just they're reading books
4 years later.
4 years later, right? So he's grown.
He's a toddler,
He's got crooked teeth. His teeth are starting to fall out.
and he's also reading what
Charles Darwin.
Charles
Origin of
Darwin, which I'm
Species,
also
yeah.
like. I'm like, don't give this man the fucking Charles
It's his
Darwin.
favorite book. He loves it. And she's like, no, we got to read child appropriate books. She wants to raise him like a normal child, right? And she comes back and she feels a little present. She's got her force field powers working, and we see Doom like right next to Franklin, I think, and she's got a mask in the left hand.
And
right?
throughout this whole movie, they did a very like.
Latveria, we didn't see-
Latveria was
yeah.
not there at the little UN Future Foundation meetings. So continue, Jomi.
I think the most interesting part of that particular scene is that if you're familiar with Doom and his relationship with the richest family, his favorite child is Valeria.
Valeria.
Named
Yeah.
after him.
Named after him,
Yeah,
right?
because he helped
saved him, her and Sue's life
Yeah.
when she was giving birth. He was off being aloof, not paying attention. He was like, I'll save your daughter and your wife's life, but I got to name her and she's got to be my goddaughter. And he was,
Which
they
is
were like-
crazy.
Which is nuts. It's a crazy bar.
I love that shit.
I just
Doom
love the
that
fact
nuts.
that like Doom at some point remains a villain but becomes a part of the family. It's such a
So great.
odd thing.
And they have a great relationship, him and Valeria. Like she can come call him whenever she wants. Like they are tight like this. But I'm seeing that scene and I'm like, huh. It's interesting that he's there with Franklin. Like and something like we've like tossed around. Like, is Doom trying to rebuild a universe? Who better in
use
the
them.
MCU to rebuild a universe than Franklin Richards? The
So
guy who
Franklin
rebuilds
Richards
universes?
in this MCU version, do we think he's kidnapping Franklin essentially to wipe the entire multiverse and then just build a battle world where he's king?
I would hate to have Franklin Richards be a MacGuffin again, but I think that's a better
Mr.
use.
MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna know pretty soon. This movie did not do a lot to get us towards Doomsday. Almost nothing. A self-contained story.
Nah.
But only in this thing, it didn't do anything. There was no incursion. There was no explanation as to
The Thunderbolts. The ship.
none of that stuff.
Are we
Yeah.
getting incursions in this? Maybe.
Well, I mean,
in
they
this
mentioned
version?
this is something that we talked about in Doctor Strange: Multiverse Madness, right? It was the reason why they're talking about how all these the Strange with the Devil Strange at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
He caused an
Oh,
incursion,
right, yeah.
So things we know these things existed. That's why they didn't fuck with Doctor Strange at the beginning when he showed up to that.
But
universe.
they haven't brought that plot point back. I don't think. Like, did they
And
bring it up
it's
in Loki
been a
season
minute.
2?
Spider-Man is street
Maybe.
level.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, look, whatever happens. I don't know if this Doom is from Earth 828, if that Doom is from Earth 616,
or any other.
or any other Earth. Don't know where that Doom is from. Don't know what's going on. But I do know that I was legitimately surprised to see Doom.
Right.
The stinger was incredibly effective.
Yeah.
And it asked more questions than it answered. I mean, really, it didn't answer any questions.
Would this movie have been better? Because I don't think so. But would this movie have been better if it was more connected to the Marvel universe? If it was more like we're getting incursions, we're getting Doom, because I actually think that they made a very smart decision of like, we need to prove that the Fantastic Four can stand on their own.
Right.
Because part of me was like, oh, is Avengers Doomsday going to kind of just have to be like a Fantastic Four sequel?
They needed to focus on their characters.
But it's an interesting catch-22 because we have had so many Marvel projects that is just a graveyard of post-credit scenes that went nowhere. And now when we're on the precipice of the next biggest Marvel event film, we don't actually have that many threads to pull on for where we're going, what we should actually be caring about, or who really is going to be our guiding light here. We've seen in articles
with the guiding light thing.
I get it.
There's
but
only one Robert Downey Jr.
I understand that.
like-
But
You say
it's more
guiding
the fact
light,
that-
what do you
the fact
mean?
that we don't have that many things to like, not so much care about, but we don't really know like what we're going to be expecting at all. And I get that we didn't have that much to go on when it came to Endgame, not Endgame, Infinity War. But Infinity War was just go. We know everything where everybody's at pretty much. It's just
So the thing
off
with
to the races.
the thing with Infinity War was like Infinity War was able to start right away because you knew all the characters so well, and you knew that they had given you so much of Thanos in these respective films.
Not necessarily. I would argue that
Wrong.
No.
They had given you. It's not true. They had given you enough of Thanos, and
not so much though.
but they had given you so much of him. He had showed up. You knew what he wanted to do. Is
Yeah.
my point.
Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers 2. I'll do it myself. He grabs.
And
the
it was part of
gauntlet.
the
That's
cultural-
a 10-second scene.
I understand, but it's
my
part of a
point is-
cultural momentum that gets you
and
to
then,
a point.
And then, to be honest with you, even at the end of Thor Ragnarok, when Sanctuary pops up, with like they can start the movie without saying anything other than this is the guy you've been seeing for the last X amount of time. And not only that, but in Guardians, Thanos is in the movie looking for the Power Stone. So you know he wants the stones. You've seen him in different places. You know he's looming. He's out there over a couple of different properties. I would say that that's so much without being too much.
Fair. But I would argue the most effective part of Infinity War is not only making Thanos the main character, essentially, but that first part on the Asgardian ship where he lays out everything. Where he's like, he beats up Hulk. He takes off his armor. He's talking to Thor. Like that entire bit lets you know this guy's in charge. He's a menace. He's going to be a problem. You have to contend with him. Can they do it? The answer is ultimately no.
But
that's what Doomsday has to do.
So can I ask you this though? Now that I'm thinking about it, we were talking about, and this might be another reason why they said it, in like a very 60s utopia type place. Do you think part of Doomsday is going to be like the Fantastic Four get into our MCU and be like, damn, y'all niggas live like this? You know what I'm saying? They looking like, then it's Doom. Like, what part of me is, I'm like, I think what they're going to do is like they robbed you of your history. Like, that's what Hickman and his new Ultimate Universe has been like, where it's like, y'all didn't have the Fantastic Four. You didn't have the X-Men. They robbed you of this shit. And you know what I mean?
Bro, what a great meta commentary that was.
You sounding like fucking Elijah Muhammad right now, bro. Robbed you of your history. Why do we think the Fantastic Four is... Why do we think that they are headed towards the Thunderbolts Earth? Like, why? Why is that happening now? Is their world still going to be destroyed by Dr. Doom? By Dr. Doom. Is their world still going to be destroyed by Dr. Doom? Did it just not happen in this movie? Are they still going to be...
To your point, the scene with the Sanctuary coming up. Maybe we open and he's like, "Yeah, I'm taking your son. I gotta go fix the Earth. I'm gonna see y'all. So like, we gotta go get Franklin." And that's the introduction of Dr. Doom that we get in for Doomsday. And they're following him to our Earth. I would love, obviously, to see more of these characters, but I don't think we're not going to get a solo movie for them for a while.
Yeah, I just imagine that there's a lot of explaining for other characters to ping pong off of before there's actually like a through line. But again, we wouldn't have this problem if Kang was still around.
Man, fuck Kang.
I understand.
Ooh,
fuck.
damn.
I understand.
Bro.
Fuck Kang.
Kang wasn't working, bro.
The box office.
Steve, can you tell us what this is going to do domestically, internationally, and then globally, and how that kind of matches up with the summer?
Yeah, so we are looking at about 190 to 110 million in a global opening. International projections are around 90 to 100. Domestics around 100 to 110. Rotten Tomatoes is about like 86. It's looking pretty good, but tracking, it doesn't seem to be like it's going to be moving mountains for Marvel.
It seems like it's going to be around Superman. So, Van, is this a win? Do you think quality of the movie can get that up? Or do you think this is just like we needed to prove we could make a critically acclaimed movie that makes profit and we just kind of got to be patient?
I think with Marvel right now, anything that's not a loss is a win. And when I say loss, I mean a financial loss and a critical loss. This movie cannot lose money. Thunderbolts looks like it's probably going to lose a little bit of money, maybe right at break even. This movie needs to make money, and it needs to be well received. Getting back to even the comparisons that we're doing right now with the summer of 2019 when we're comparing the state of movies, this summer is wildly successful.
Yeah.
From a movie standpoint. You don't have to compare it to 19 because the reality is that 19 had both Rise of Skywalker and Endgame in the same summer, and it just completely destroyed the box office of the summer. So this summer is already a wild success. This movie is, to me, a success because it's good, because it's cohesive, because it's creatively competent. But if it doesn't become profitable for Marvel, it's just another question about whether or not anything that's not Avengers or Spider-Man works at the studio anymore. I mean, Spider-Man Brand New Day will be gigantic.
It's gonna
yes, it will.
That's $1 billion.
But same thing like with the Avengers. Even if the Avengers movie, people are like, oh, whatever, like they know they got at least $2 billion, like, or at least 900. Like, can you imagine Doomsday or Secret World?
Those movies, if you can't get, I mean, you're gonna have the X-Men in those. So like those movies will be yeah.
If you can't break $1 billion on those, then you have real problems.
But I also think this is what's interesting about the Superman versus Fantastic Four of it all, which is like I think what I'm starting to realize is I'm like, oh, Superman and Fantastic Four are on the same level now. Where it's just like to your point, I'm like, if it's not Avengers, if it's not X-Men, if it's not Batman,
it's not Spider-Man.
If it's not Spider-Man, like a win probably is in the, like, if you could get to 6-7, it's not a home run, but like it's.
Take those.
But I want you guys to remember Batman Begins, though, right? So I want you guys to remember the transitional movie after the franchise had died or lost its steam and lost its luster and what that meant. I want you guys to remember Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. I want you guys to remember the reception, not the box office, but the reception of Spider-Man 3. So none of these characters are as durable as what we think they are.
Yeah.
Like Batman Begins as a film was an insane reinvention of the character that really worked well, but the box office on it was light. And the reason why it was light, it wasn't light for what the expectations of the movie were, but people had to be reintroduced to Batman.
Yeah.
They had to be reintroduced to Batman. And everyone even knew. I remember there was MTV, I've talked about this before. On the MTV Movie Awards, they did a skit of some sort. And Robert Downey Jr. was in the sketch. And there was a kid that was with Robert Downey Jr. that was playing whoever's, Ben Stiller, I think.
Was this for Tropic Thunder?
Yeah. For his nephew.
Yeah.
And he goes, he's a big Iron Man fan. And then Robert Downey Jr. looks at him and goes, oh my God, he wants to talk to him. And he goes, yeah, it'll do until The Dark Knight comes out. The movie was so anticipated, but that was because of the groundwork that was laid by Batman Begins, which was a movie that didn't go crazy in terms of the box office. So, you know, these things being what they are right now in the present doesn't mean that they're going to be what they are 2 or 3 movies from now. Like the next Superman movie could cross $1 billion, could cross $1.5 billion, could be something closer to what The Dark Knight, the next Fantastic Four, the same thing.
I would say even the Batman didn't do a Billy, but like the anticipation, because we had to wait. We're like, what the fuck is Matt Reeves cooking? Why did it take so long? I would not be surprised if that Batman movie does way better than the first, not way better, but better than the first one, because we're like, oh shit, like they pulled it off. James Gunn, like, he's probably not doing Superman 2, but to your point, Superman 2 comes out, people are like, I trust the product now. I trust the fucking vision.
Yeah, they're out there. They're back on it. You know, go ahead.
With that, do we want to get into the Midnight Meter?
Sure.
All right, guys, y'all know what the Midnight Meter is. 1 to 10, traditional ranking, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, 11 and 12 reserved for absolute game changers. Start with you, Jomi. Where are you going?
I always started with me. Golly. I am going to go with a 7. I think that I enjoyed this movie a lot. Obviously, I talked about how much I enjoyed the space stuff with Galactus and Galactus in general. I enjoyed the family stuff a ton. There are we didn't get to talk about it too much, but there are some like the same thing with Superman, very like heavy on the nose stuff.
It's not a perfect movie.
It's not a perfect movie.
No.
But I enjoyed the reinvention of these characters that I fell in love with all the way back in 2005. And so 7 works for me.
Yeah. Steve? 7 for me as well. Very strong, very fun. Some of the best looking sequences in a Marvel movie that have happened in a very long time. Yeah. Characters are great, but there are some major rocky stumbles for me in there that pull it down.
Rocky stumbles?
Yeah. Rocky stumbles.
And here's the thing.
Clobbering time.
Yeah.
It's an 8.
Yeah.
Fun movie. Had a lot of fun. Movie works. Go see it.
Yeah.
Like it's an 8 for me. It's an 8. And I think it's the type of film that will get better upon repeat viewing. You know, so it's an 8. I give it an 8.
Oh, it is the easiest, strongest 8 I've ever given to a movie. It's probably the first time I can remember in forever where I want to see this movie again in theaters. When it ended, I was like, oh, I want to see this fucking again. Yeah. You know, so it's like a very strong 8. But what I want to ask y'all, my last question is, where does Fantastic Four rank in terms of inaugural MCU movies? So we have 13. Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, The First Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Thunderbolts. So which tier does Fantastic Four get to?
So it is better than every movie on this list except for Black Panther and Iron Man. And Guardians.
And Guardians.
So Iron Man. So you say Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther. Wait, what about Spider-Man Homecoming?
No, it's better than that.
I think
it's tied.
It's tied or it's better.
I think it's tied.
I think there's easily a top tier with Iron Man, Guardians, and Black Panther. Like that's the top 3. For me. That goes in the tier.
This is on the Spider-Man Homecoming Ant-Man tier for me, I think.
But what tier is that? Because I would have that in 2.
Yeah,
there's S tier and A tier.
If I'm thinking about
Honestly,
the top of the second tier, it's like Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
I think
Doctor Strange ain't no S tier.
That's
A tier.
bro.
Doctor Strange is B tier.
Guys, I firmly think that Doctor Strange is better than Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes, Doctor Strange is very, very good.
Firmly,
this is
I will put him in the same tier. That Doctor Strange is better than Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I don't disagree with that.
Doctor Strange is better than
Doctor Strange is a B tier Marvel movie to me.
I'm telling you, I firmly think that it's better. The rest of these, Shang-Chi.
I take Eternals over Doctor Strange.
No, stop the cap right now.
No.
Come on.
I'm not doing that.
That's nuts.
But you know what? Honestly, Thunderbolts. So they're 13 here, so that you could really go 5 than 3. But whatever.
Thunderbolts is lower A tier, high B tier for me.
Same thing.
I like Thunderbolts better than.
But that's what I mean.
But
I put this here because if you think about it, I think we're a little bit. It's hard to be overly excited about Fantastic Four because I think this is like the 37th Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. But when you like go in between of like, oh, where does this sit? You're like, oh, this was actually one of their more successful origin movies.
The only thing I would say about the Thunderbolts about being on this list is they had all been in other movies before.
Or other projects.
But as a team,
other projects before.
They had like.
I mean, the Avengers.
But then you put Avengers there because they've done other projects.
Avengers would be S tier.
Yeah, but you can't. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to Thunderbolts to put that in this.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. I mean, Black Panther had been in other movies before too, so I guess you got.
But it's not.
But it's his.
But Thunderbolts still feels like an origin movie to me. I get what y'all are saying, but it's like
I get what you mean. You could go either way on it.
Is Black Widow last?
Yeah. No.
See, that don't count as a. I wouldn't have her on this list.
Y'all gonna be mad at me what I think is tied for last. I think Captain Marvel and Eternals
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel's not a good movie.
It's
not a good movie.
I thought you were gonna say Captain America.
No, Captain America is C tier.
No,
Captain
shut
America
up. It's way better than that.
So my top would be if you can only have 3, then really Hulk is last. But if you were really have
Hulk is not last.
Hulk's not last.
Hulk kind of sucks. But if you could have 3, if I could have 3, my 3 would be Iron Man, which is besides Superman 1978, the greatest origin superhero story ever. And it might be more important of
it's absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So Superman starts the
story. We can't get Sam Raimi's Spider-Man up in there?
It's very important too.
It's incredibly important.
But I mean, for what Hollywood is now,
true.
Iron Man
is very important too.
That is
different.
So it would be Iron Man. It would be Black Panther. I just gotta put it up there, even though and Guardians. Those are the top 3.
Yeah,
and then
undisputable. Yeah.
The second the B ones are gonna be for me. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and the Fantastic Four.
I like the first Ant-Man. I put that up there. I put that in there.
All right, now because we just got to do it for the clip farming. We just got to do it for the
Make
clip
my job
farming.
easy.
Superman, Fantastic Four, they're both out.
Superman was slightly better to me.
Yeah.
I think
Fantastic Four was slightly better.
There you go. Makes sense. Superman was slightly better.
I think Superman was better, but I enjoyed Fantastic Four more.
Interesting. Superman to me was slightly better just because it was just, this is going to sound so stupid. It was just slightly more, it was more interesting. It was just more interesting.
There's more movie.
Yeah, in that movie. It was just more interesting. Cooler shit happened. But a lot of crazy cool shit happened in Fantastic Four too.
I would just rather watch. I was thinking of like which movie is going to fall apart on rewatch more for me. And I think Superman is going to fall apart a lot faster than Fantastic Four will. But with that being said, I think both of these movies have a like second act third act problem where I'm like, yo, y'all both started off so well, and it's almost like the movie's overpromise and then kind of underdeliver towards the end.
You know what this comes down to? Superman is my kind of movie. Fantastic Four is your kind of movie.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's why to me they're on the same team. Like I think I gave Superman an 8.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
These are both 8s to me. It's just like because we don't do points, it'd be like it's the difference between like an 8.2 and like an 8.5. Like
Yeah, I mean, for me, like the scene of them meeting like all of that space stuff, it's out of both movies. That's probably the most fun I've had in the theater at both those movies. So it's tough because I think to your point, like what Superman does is just it's a better constructed movie. But I think the things that Fantastic Four does well, also it does incredibly well. So it's tough. I think I had more fun in Fantastic Four, but Superman's just the better main
I
movie.
agree.
right.
Hell yeah.
That's a wrap this week on the Ringerverse feed. We're at Comic-Con right now. This weekend, you can expect to see our panel from Comic-Con. And later, both House of R and Midnight Boys will be giving you their recaps and reports from San Diego, along with a bunch of San Diego Comic-Con content coming soon. Our producers are Aleya, Zenieris, Jade, Whaley, John Richter, Jonathan Frias, Jomi Adeniran on social. Get Jomi drunk. Hashtag get Jomi drunk. Get Jomi drunk. Hashtag say get Jomi drunk.
wait, what? No, you know what we need to play as your intro music at the panel?
What?
Everybody in the club. Jomi in the club.
I got a fake ID though.
You gotta play the Shabuzi version.
All right.
Shabuzi, I need it to be over, bro. I'm proud of you,
I need it to be over.
but I need it to end.
I fuck with that
drinking
Shabuzi song.
It's very bad.
Okay, so I fuck with the song, but it's time for it to be over.
Yeah,
Ready to
another-
tear out.
Whoa! Before you you got some words for our man,
Who?
James Gunn.
Oh shit. Hold on for a second.
Clear out.
Let's clear out.
Clear
real
out.
quick.
Additional
Let's
production,
clear out.
additional production from Arjuna Ramgopowell. This about to be for post credits. Do not go nowhere, because here come the post credits. Chuck, take us out.
All right. Charles is positive. Steve been a little bit mixy. Visit us at Comic-Con so you can see Jomi get a little tipsy.
Ooh, that's perfect. Play the James Gunn sound real quick.
I never understood what any of the faces were in Marvel. I don't know what any of it means. Like, I have no clue what it means. I have no clue what any of that stuff ever meant. I knew there were Infinity Stones when they said, you know, we've been thinking, and we think that maybe some of these things have been Infinity Stones in different ways. And so could you write up what the Infinity Stones mean? When I wrote the scene with the Collector, explaining that, you know, there was this explosion and then the Infinity Stones were born and what they mean and where they came from, that was literally me just sitting down for 3 minutes and writing that. And that's then what became the rest of the Infinity Stones. There was never anybody that said anything other than, I think the red thing and the blue thing are going to end up being Infinity Stones. That wasn't in the plan to begin with. No. I made up the Infinity Stones in 2 seconds. I have no idea I had no idea that was going to become what it was going to become.
Jesus Christ.
James Gunn, you need to clarify this. You need to clarify this, James Gunn.
You know what he means.
I know you getting your little shit on. We love you, James Gunn. We love you
He's
so
riding high.
much. We love you, but you need to clarify this.
A lot of dip on a chip.
Because you making it seem like you sat in a room and came up with the Infinity Stones, and we know that ain't true.
That's not what he said.
We know that ain't true. That's how it comes off.
It's in the clip. He's like, Marvel needed to put the Infinity Stones in the MCU. They needed to basically backdate how they got there. He had to come
I'ma
up
say
with
it.
how they existed.
That's
James
all
Gunn
I'm
running
saying.
around like he Pac right now.
That is true.
That is true. You got
That
like,
is true.
Hey, I see
James
it.
Gunn.
I see it. We love you, but come on.
James Gunn, we love you. But when I watched that, I got emotional.
You was mad.
I was
You
like,
was
I was on the Infinity Stones in like 92. The gems, as they were called. Yeah. So I look now. I know you over there with the. You know what this kind of is? This is kind of a Yeezy taught me moment from James Gunn. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let you know, I'm over here now, but shit.
Easy talk.
You know, that chick didn't know nothing about sparkling water before she got with me.
No, mine.
She was drinking it out the tap.
How many more weeks can like James Gunn like talk his shit before everybody gotta be like,
He's got to the end of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
That's
Through
it.
the end of Comic-Con.
like you got one movie on the board, man. Like relax.
James Gunn got Kevin Feige acting weird. Kevin Feige inviting people into his house and doing all kinds of weird interviews at Disney. Like, he got Kevin Feige acting weird. It's getting real weird between the guys. The salaries leaked, and then you saw that James Gunn is kind of out here getting this shit off. He was
doing Rick and Morty episodes, man.
James Gunn is out here like, I got $15 million for this movie. Superman only got 2. That's crazy. Not even 2.
No, Lex Luthor got 2. He got 750.
No, I think it was 750.
Yeah, 750. So, James.
Well, James, he's paying himself. You're like, man,
I don't know. This is the East Coast, West Coast beef, and I'll just say, Bad Boys Records.
I'm telling you. James Gunn, bro.
Come to death row.
Come to death row.
I'm telling you, James Gunn out here, man. Just relax, James. Big James. Take your foot off their neck, Big James.
You don't hurt him, Big James.
Don't hurt him, Big James. Big James is out there. Take your foot off their neck, Big James. Big James, like, I invented your blockbuster. Big James, cool out.
We got completed scripts over here.
Come on.
Jimmy
like,
G not playing with y'all,
come over here,
man.
DCU. You know what I'm saying? Like, Big James, chill on him.
Jimmy G not playing with you.
Let him breathe, Big James.
That gun is the gun, not jam,
I'm
baby.
telling you.
They letting that chopper shine, baby.